Are you ready to book your first cruise and you have no idea where to start? I'm going to break down all the steps that I use when booking a cruise. Ahoy, travelers! It's Amy with Cruising from the Ozarks here to help you make your travel experience a success. And one of the first steps in that is getting that cruise booked. There are several tools I use when booking a cruise. Now, the two main ones are cruise line websites and cruisedeckplans.com. Even if you plan to book through a travel agent, you're going to need to have an idea of where and when you want to cruise, what your expectations are, and how much you want to spend. We're going to assume that you've already got an idea of when and where you want to cruise. That's the bare minimum of what you have to know, right? I usually start out with a time frame of when I want to cruise and some idea of where I'd like to cruise to and or from. For this video, we're going to look at cruising during the first of the year 2025, leaving for Port Canaveral in Orlando on Carnival. Once you learn how to do this, you can do mock bookings on all the other lines and then compare deals. We will start by mock booking a cruise on Carnival, as it has the most intuitive site in my opinion. Maybe I've just been on it more, I don't know, but it seems like it makes the most sense to me. A mock booking is where you go through the booking process up until you actually have to either book or reserve the cruise. If this is your first time on the website, you could choose to do part of a mock booking without creating an account, but it is free to do so and you're going to need to have one before you can finish booking. This will also give you your loyalty number, which for Carnival, that's called a VIFP number. It stands for Very Important Fun Person. This is information you're going to want to keep somewhere safe for future use. Since we already know where we want to leave from, we will start with the Plan menu and choose Find a Cruise. The next step is to choose where you are sailing from. You can see here all the locations where Carnival ports out of. And we're going to choose Port Canaveral. Next, we will narrow down our search by date. I'm going to choose January and February because I like to have a break from winter weather and head south into the Caribbean. Depending on how flexible you are, time-wise, not physically, you may not narrow down this search any further, but I do prefer 7-day cruises to a 5-day cruise. So I'm going to select the duration as well, and I'm going to choose both 7 and 8-day cruises. Now we start to see what ships and itineraries are available for us to choose from. These are going to be listed by cheapest first, although you can switch and go from high to low. Not sure why someone would want to do that, but the option is there. We've chosen a wide departure date window, so some of these may not be ideal for you. The fare shown is for one person in the cheapest cabin available, and you're going to have to pay for two even if you cruise solo. So the price is just a baseline to use for comparison. Never be tricked by these advertised prices because you will pay over double that before you're done. Prices are often affected by the time of year, the ship, and your itinerary. Summer and holidays are always going to cost more. Newer and bigger ships are also going to cost more to book. As you can see, we have 3 different ships to choose from: the Venezia, Mardi Gras, and Vista. We also have 3 basic itineraries: Western, Eastern, and Southern Caribbean itineraries. There will still be different ports within those choices, so if you have a preference, be sure to pay attention to that. The cheapest cruise listed is a 7-day Eastern Caribbean on Carnival in Venezia, leaving on January 5th. This goes to Amber Cove, San Juan, and St. Thomas. If we scroll down, you can see there are 8-day cruises available on the Vista, but the price is about the same as you're going to pay for a 7-day on the Mardi Gras. Well, why is that? Well, the Mardi Gras is a newer and bigger ship than the Vista, and like I said, you're going to pay more for that. Since I'm eager to experience Carnival's fun Italian style, let's choose the Venezia. I'd like to go on an Eastern Caribbean itinerary because I've done a lot of Western ones, but January 5th is a little early in the year. So let's look at this one because I'd like to go back to San Juan and St. Thomas. Beautiful places, and I've never been to Amber Cove. We're going to click this and let's see what dates are available. You see we have 2 dates in February, but one is a little more expensive than the other, and I don't have a preference. So I'm going to go ahead and choose the cheaper one of the 2. At this point, if you're a budget cruiser, every little bit helps with that final cost. We've chosen our cruise, so the next thing to decide is what type of room you want. Now, I usually choose interior because that helps me afford to cruise more than once a year, but balconies tend to be the most popular choice, so we're going to go with that for our mock booking. Now it's time to decide if you're a gambler or not. I am not, so I will not be letting Carnival assign a room for me, even though that's the cheapest option on most cruise lines. Maybe you're okay with the line choosing the room for you, but I'm not. If you want to know more about guaranteed cabins, I will leave a link to a video explaining that in the description below. I like to make sure I choose my room and where it's located on the ship, so I'm going to click Change Room. This will take us to where we can start from the beginning on what type of room we want. Then we're going to narrow that down even more. I have a video on how to choose the best cabin for you that will go into greater detail on this next step, and I'm going to leave that in the description below as well. Since I am a budget cruiser, I'm going to choose a basic balcony. I don't want a cove balcony. I feel like if I'm going to pay for a balcony, I want a very good view, but I don't feel the need to pay for the premium cabins. While I like my cabins to be basic, I don't want my content to be. So if you enjoy this video and maybe even learn something, consider subscribing with the notification bell on so you don't miss any future posts. Be sure to hit that like button as well. It only takes a second, and doing so helps cruisers like you find us. This is where we choose our offer. These will sometimes be different based on if you are a first-time cruiser or if you've loyalty status, but it's very important to read through them carefully to make sure you're choosing the best one for you. The first two options are basically the same, but one is cheaper and the deposit is only $50 per person. If you scroll down, you're going to see that the Fun Select option includes a free room location upgrade. Now, this is not a room category upgrade, so you're not going to upgrade the type of room, just where it's located. And if you're spending time choosing the best cabin location for you, you sure don't want this option. Not to mention, you're paying $1,000 for it, even if it says it's free. Plus, it isn't guaranteed you're going to even get the upgrade. Do people really choose this option? I just can't imagine why anyone would choose this option. I feel like they're just trying to trick people into thinking they're getting something that they're not. So we are going to choose the early saver sale. This is where knowing the ship layout and where you want your cabin to be located comes into play. If you don't have a clue, go back and watch my video on choosing the best cabin. As you can see, the upper decks have already been sold out. They are usually the most popular and also the most expensive. I have checked out the deck plans for the Venezia, so I know that I would prefer somewhere between midship and aft on deck 7 or 8. Since deck 7 is only going to cost an extra $10, I'm going to start there and look at what cabins are available to book. There are some here at the aft section that are close to the elevators, but not too close, and are surrounded by other cabins. So they're going to be ones that I'm going to choose from. Now we see what the room costs for 2 people versus that advertised cruise cost per person. Taxes and port fees have been added as well. You can also go ahead and choose to prepay your gratuities. And when doing a mock booking, I will also often add the vacation protection, which is your travel insurance, just so I have an idea how much it's going to cost, even though I don't book travel insurance through the cruise line. We started off with Carnival showing us a balcony price of $799 per person. But after choosing a balcony and adding our taxes, port fees, and gratuities, you can see the price is now just around $2,500 for 2, or a little over $1,200 per person. Now that I've walked you through the steps of a mock booking, you can take what you've learned and apply it to almost any cruise line out there. Some will let you get further in the process than others without adding in personal information, but all will at least give you an idea of what is available and a basic idea of how much it's going to cost you. Even if you plan to go with a travel agent, knowing how to do this will give you more control over your vacation and help ensure that you have an amazing cruise. Let me know in the comments if you have any other questions about finding and booking a cruise. I want to demystify as much about cruising as I can for those who are new to the cruise community. If you want more information on how I find and choose the best cabins, be sure to stick around and check out this video on choosing the best cabin for you. And then come back for more information designed to help you have an amazing cruise. Have a blessed week, everyone.